Welcome back, everyone. If you did not see my last video, we are in, not the new garage, but it feels like a new garage to me. We painted, put some new lights in. It's nice and bright. I'm pumped. I'm ready to film. Today, we're gonna get this car running. Stay tuned. All right, so when I say get this car running, I actually do mean get this car running. I don't mean getting it driving, but the goal for the end of the day is to finish hooking up the fuel system and actually idling this car in my garage. Everything is in place to do that. It's been a long time goal of mine. The coolant system's hooked up, the engine's filled with all its fluids it needs, its oils and all that. We have headers now. We have an O2 sensor in the header. That was something I forgot to show in the last video, but whatever. And so the last thing is we were waiting for some parts. Here it is. So this is the float. It goes in the tank. Super easy to install. This is the old one from the old tank. I just wanted to make sure they were the same, and as we can see, they are. So I'm pumped about that. Now, the reason that I needed this is we are adding a return line into this tank, and I didn't know where this float sat inside the tank, so I needed this. Plus I need it just to seal the top of the tank so you can put the tank in. But so let me show you what I mean by that, and actually let's get to work as well. All right, so this is where the fuel comes out of the tank, but because the Miata was a return system, which means gas flows out of the tank and any extra gas comes back into the tank, we needed to add a fitting. And so this is the fitting that we're gonna use, and we are going to put it right here. But basically I needed to make sure that didn't interfere with where the float goes inside, and I've confirmed it doesn't, so we are going to drill a hole, put that in, and get to work on that. All right, hole is drilled. Now I want to make sure that no metal shavings are in there as much as possible, so I'm gonna try to clean that up as much as possible, and then we'll get this in. All right, I don't know how much of that I showed because that was so difficult. Basically, to get this in, there was the big kind of nut on the other side, and I had to screw it from the inside with only that little hole to get my fingers in. That really hurt actually, and I dropped the I dropped the nut a bunch of times. I ended up getting a system, and it is in. I'm gonna try to tighten it now. I'm gonna try to get a wrench in there. So once that's done, we'll come back. All right, so I took the old one off just to see the order of things that had to be done. And as you guys can see, I know it's terrible, but it started out with this, I know it doesn't look like it, but the rubber, then the actual float itself, and then this cool device. I'll show you kind of how that locks it in as well. First things first, we have the rubber, that in, float in. Now this is what's going to lock it in place, and as you can see as I go around, it goes from being skinny to getting a little fatter. So what happens is as we turn this, it actually locks it in place. So all you need to do is put it on and turn it, and it will lock into place. It's not tight yet. I'm going to grab some pliers and get it moving. All right, so in terms of the tank itself, it seems to be ready to go. We have our float in, our sending unit that seals off our top. We have our return, we have our sending line. Our breather we're gonna deal with after. It's fine how it is, obviously the neck. It is closed off, it is ready to go. The only thing I kind of need to figure out is this. All right, so we drilled a little hole here. I just want to make sure I'm in the right spot, but that should line up with this. And then hopefully I can just attach that later. I put some rubber around the edge just to stop any vibrations. Obviously you don't want that with the gas tank, but this should be good to go in. So this next part is going to be a little tricky because I'm by myself and someone's got to hold it, and then someone's got to put on the nuts. So my good friend Jack is going to help us out. right, so my good friend Jack was no help at all. We got it done. Tanks in. In the top, we had to cut a little bit bigger hole because my math didn't work out. So now we have access to that. This is all lined up. Good to go there, guys. We need to hook up a return line, put the soft line onto the sending line, and get a battery and fill this up with gas. And we should be able to start it. So that is coming. Stay tuned. If you're here to see the car start, it's coming. I don't know what the timestamp is yet because I'm still filming, but it's down there. Down there. It's down that way in the video. Just hang on. We're getting there. All right, it is a couple hours later. I got a lot of work done. I got a little frustrated. So my wife got home. We had some lunch. Came back in the garage, realized that I still needed some soft fuel line, some rubber fuel line. So I ran out, got that, finished everything. We're ready to try to start this thing. So let me bring you through what we did. God, this camera lens is filthy, sorry. Let me bring you through what we did, and let's see if we can get Chris out here to give me a hand to make sure we have no leaks, things like that, and let's try to get this thing started. All right, so in the back, everything's pretty well the same. I did wire in that, not that we need it for today, but that is the for the float to see the fuel pressure. I attached all of this to our tank so that we can actually fill it, and I have it venting out just into the atmosphere for now. Around front, our fuel rail is right here. So we have our incoming line. You can't see it, and our outgoing line, which is this guy here. We have those hooked up. We have our lines run underneath the car. Everything's hooked up. You can see that our new fuel tank is there. And I think we're ready to go. So let me think this through with you guys. To run an engine, you need fuel, air, spark. Okay, to run an engine well, you need fuel, air, spark. You need to be able to cool the engine so that nothing gets hurt. You need your sensor so that it knows the proper air to fuel mixture. You need headers just for some pressure as well to have O2 sensor. I think we got everything we need. We know that the engine starts because we've tried to start it before and it'll turn over. We just haven't had fuel hooked up. We have our MAP sensor. We have our O2 sensor hooked in right down here. There's oil in the engine. There's coolant in our radiator. Our lines are hooked up. Fuel return. Starter's hooked up, the pump's hooked up. All right, I'm gonna throw the dash in and then I think we're good to get started. I'm actually super excited. Just go get it, see if it has any power.
Don't forget, there's a bunch of air in the line, so.
Yeah, I know.
What?
I feel like it needs.
Let's just give it a
No, it's good. I don't know how much more this thing has. So.
how much? Yeah, it's gonna have to start, or else it's. Can we give it a little?
No, good now.
Okay, I wanted to go.
Before we continue, I'm gonna put a piece of metal so that doesn't keep firing into the.
Do you want me to tack a tube onto it, just pointing straight up?
No. literally just gonna.
So it shoots it out, as I said. Got it.
Push it.
Did you let go of the key that time or no?
Yeah, probably 3 seconds before.
Okay, well, let me know when you let go of it and I'll keep it going. Okay, it revved by itself there.
Okay, so this time I'm gonna also let go of the neutral safety because I don't know if that has anything to do with it or not.
Okay. Not even that loud, really.
Okay, stop. I wonder. I wonder if that's the wrapping on it doing that, because it's just coming from the header itself.
It could be the aluminized stuff on the exhaust, who knows? A little less loud. Less loud.
Well, good news is we know that fuel's getting to it because that's obviously not the starter fluid anymore.
Yeah.
Dude, there's some mad flames coming out of this.
I mean, it dies without it, but that's fine. Go ahead. I'll feather it. Weird. Wonder why.
I don't know if you guys could hear it, but there's a guy next door. He's got like I think it's a dirt bike, but that doesn't sound like a dirt bike. And he's also trying to get whatever that is started. So we're gonna give him a bit of a a little rev battle here. So far so good. It won't idle on its own, so we're trying to figure that out. It also is running. It doesn't feel like it's running prime, but also this is the first time I've like started an engine for the first time. So we're gonna keep going, having some fun.
I want to see if I didn't touch it, what would it do? Okay, now. You sat for 2 seconds.
All right, so our charging pack that we were using as our starting battery died. As you guys saw, it ran. Pumped. We're gonna try it. We are going to give it another try later. If it works, I'll film it and I'll add it in this video. But if not, you guys have an awesome night. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and don't forget to keep being you. We'll see you in the next one.